if you were to hang out with Matt and I 6 years ago, we would be telling you vehemently that we were not going to have children ever. And so today we thought we would talk about 6 ways having Rowynne and becoming parents has changed us. Turn this down. So I'm going to start. So I thought I would start with the first one being the biggest change for initial change was being flexible. And I think that started right away during delivery. Because
even before that.
Even before that, you think so?
No, yeah, during delivery, I suppose. Yeah, leading up to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't at delivery, it was leading up to it, though.
Yes, I guess so, yes. So labor, to be more specific, is that, like, that did not go as planned. And not that you can have plans, and we said we're going to be flexible, but it basically went the complete opposite of what we had planned. And I think that was the first lesson. I can see some people agree with me here. That was the first lesson in having to be flexible. And then I think that has been like an ongoing theme since becoming parents. And for me, I know this was a huge change for me because I was pretty adamant on things before. And if I had made a decision about something, I stuck to it. And I vehemently wanted that to happen. And you know, for example, like you have to be flexible in your day-to-day when you have children. And I was like, oh no, like I'm gonna run a tight ship. Like things are gonna be a certain way. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna co-sleep. You know, we're not gonna have her watch television for the first 2 years because I read this book and apparently that's bad for the brain development. And I think you have to become flexible. Some days Rowynne's gonna wake up and she's gonna be super grumpy. And she's going to want to sit and she's going to want to snuggle for a moment, and looking at my face and hearing me talk isn't going to do it for her. So we're going to throw on the TV and she's going to sit and have some quiet time and chill for a moment. And that's good.
Watch some Wiggles.
Watch some Wiggles. Another example of being flexible would be I thought I would never co-sleep. And then at the beginning when we had Rowynne, she was super colic and she wouldn't take anything but the boob, not a soother, not a bottle, not anything. And so we're like, okay, this is what's going to make it easier. She's going to come in the bed with us. And we did that for about 2.5 months. And so even just your day-to-day, like you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then you have a day where your baby won't let you put her down. And she's like, no, I just basically want to be held all day. You're going to walk me to and from. Every time you put me down, I'm going to scream. So you're not going to make that dinner tonight. And you're not going to call that friend right now or whatever it may be. So I would say, yes, number one lesson is to be flexible. And for type A personality like me, that was a lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back and forth. We have 6 ways Rowynne's changed us. That's number 1. Matt's going to go for number 2 for you.
Number 1 for me was paying more attention to other parents and their children. So I find that ever since having Rowynne, I've found I pay a lot more attention to things like what other children are doing or what other parents are doing, or when I see parents and children out, I'll pay attention to, you know, just kind of see what they're up to. And I don't know, I just found that before that, I didn't really care too much about children.
Yeah, we didn't care. Not only did we not care, we would actually be that couple that would complain.
Yeah, we would kind of be like on a plane ride, and we'd be, you know, a baby would be screaming, and we'd be like, ugh.
Or at a restaurant, like, oh, do they have to sit near us? And we'd be so annoyed.
I feel embarrassed that was how I felt, because I couldn't imagine it any other way now. And not only that, when I hear a kid screaming or a kid just upset or crying for its mother, it's a completely different reaction.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, there's a little kid.
Or even acting out. You have so much more appreciation for a child acting out if that parent's trying to discipline them, and you're just like, wow, that kid's just having a really crappy day. Like, there's nothing this parent could do right now. Like, you have to give them a break. Where, like, before we'd be like, oh, no, this is how we would do it. Yeah. Like, you have these opinions that you have to learn that don't always fly when you actually become a parent. It's going back to being flexible. Yep,
and I even find that I just pay attention to things more in general, like even just situational awareness. Now I feel like I'm almost like a Jason Bourne. Like when I'm in a room, I scan for all the exits, and I'm aware of everything that's going on to try to like sense what might go wrong or whatever. You know, baby-proofing the situation.
Yeah.
But I find I get a little more relaxed Like it wasn't at the beginning. You're just like everything needs to be padded for Rowynne, and now it's a little more relaxed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think that's where I come in sometimes too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You balance me out.
Yeah, and you balance me out because I'm maybe a little bit too lackadaisical sometimes. And then I would say the third one or second one for me, if you will, is one of the biggest personality changes for me has been my sensitivity. Like, wow. So, and I'm not saying this to brag, but just as an example, like before, I really do think I had like I don't give a fuck what anybody thought attitude, and I wish that was still me, but it's not. And maybe I'll get back to there, but you know, with Rowynne only being 16 months, I haven't gotten there yet. Because I am super sensitive to everything. Like, I'm sensitive to what people think, even though I don't want to be. I'm sensitive even to, to my parents. Like, I've always been appreciative of my parents, but I find I'm more sensitive to how much they would have had to go through to raise 3 children.
Yep.
And so that sensitivity to other families that have a hard time getting pregnant, or have a disabled child, and like I grew up with a disabled brother, and now I'm like, holy crap, Mom, how did you do that? Like with 3 different children, with a disabled brother, with like age variance of 10 years, like I don't know, I just feel like I have a lot more sensitivity, and that's not just for other people, it's also for myself, and like how we parent and how we respond to each other, and like my sensitivity overload, like, and I cry a lot more. So like I'm more sensitive to things, like even happy things, but that started happening when I was pregnant. Like I was just crying a lot in general, like happy, sad, irritable, whatever. But yeah, I've definitely lost that edge of like I don't care, and it's not that I didn't care, but I that whole I don't give a fuck attitude of what people think, and I don't have that. And maybe it'll come back and maybe it won't, but that's probably the biggest personality change that I've had. I'm reduced to tears more often than I was before, that's for sure. Like I was a sensitive person to begin with, but like even more so now. And it's crazy. Like a commercial or a movie or the right music at the right moment can just be like done. Tears.
And it's hard. It's really hard. Or she does something really incredible and I just have to have a moment. It's something else. It's
pretty awesome.
So for me, the number 4 is I think we've developed a completely new level of patience for a lot of things. Before I think we were probably a little less, patient for certain things. But I find now with Rowynne, you have to be patient. First of all, you're trying to reason with somebody who can't speak your language. She's for the better part of 3 or 4 months, she was speaking in grunts. And now she's starting to point and motion towards things, and even like it's getting a lot easier to communicate with her, but I find at first you had to have a lot of patience. And it's hard, right? Especially when the first couple of weeks where she wasn't sleeping very much and we weren't sleeping very much, and it was hard. There was some moments where you get thin, and I know that you're with her all day long, which can be challenging when she's not having a great day either, right? So you're balancing your schedule and trying to squeeze in work when she's napping, and if she's not napping, then that patience can get pretty thin. You get up there, and that's when I get those text messages.
She needs to be at daycare.
And I start trying to organize my papers on my desk because I might have to leave at any moment.
I would say we exercise patience a lot, but I find that I always thought I had a lot of patience, where I feel like my patience is thrown in my face more, like it's being challenged more, for sure. And that's definitely that's a good thing though. Like this is a really all these things are really positive as growth, but and things that you can apply to everything in your life. But patience. Sometimes I feel like I'm lacking patience, but I know.
Well, usually with technology, but that's
technology and me, but that's a whole other Facebook
other things
life.
Are fine.
Sorry, Matt's not feeling very well.
I have kind of a cold, so I'm just. My nose is wet. Anyway.
And then I would say the last one for me, and I feel like so many moms are going to resonate with this, is I have this insane amount of respect and need for my independence. Mm-hmm. And I've always been independent, and I've liked to do my own things and stuff like that, but I find that I've come to realize that, like, I need those things or I'm not happy. So I can't just be a mom. I can't. And I can't just be a wife either, or I can't just be a friend. Like, I need to be, I need to have different roles to feel satisfied. And I know that if I'm not eating healthy, I can grab it for you.
No, I'm good.
If I'm not eating healthy, I'm not working out, and I'm not doing anything that has to do with like me time, even if it's like going and getting a manicure or a pedicure. Like, I never thought that stuff would be so important, and it's outstanding how important that is for my own mental health and also me being a better mom to Rowynne and a better wife and everything like that. I wouldn't say it's necessarily that's something that has changed in me, because those are always things that I've enjoyed doing, but it's definitely something I have like an insane amount of respect for now, is that like how important it is for Matt to go out for motorcycle rides and to go spend time with his friends, and then me with my friends, and do things together as a couple, and also do things as an individual, because I need to be an individual to be my best self, and I want to be my best self for Rowynne. And I thought I would be able to like dig deep and, you know, for the first couple years just be like hardcore mom, but I can't. And I just don't think that would be a good thing for me, and then as a consequence, a good thing for Rowynne and Matt. Yeah,
and I mean the utmost respect to people who sacrifice and do that, like, and become full-time parents. And,
absolutely.
I mean, that's
our moms.
mind-blowing.
Our moms.
Mom. Yeah,
and
totally.
I think that there's
a lot of people's moms.
Yeah, and I think that there's this guilt of...
It's hard.
Yeah, like there's this guilt of not being able to do it.
What?
And because I do have a lot of respect for that, and but I can't do it. I can't, and I need to have other parts of me to feel fulfilled, and I went through a lot of guilt with that, and like having to get daycare and doing. I thought I could do it all, and I can't. And I think that has been a big slap in the face for me, like a big realization. Not bad slap in the face, but a big realization that like I need to have my independence outside of being a mom to be fulfilled. And it's different for everyone. And like we said, we respect it so much so that I actually felt guilty for not wanting it. And but yeah, that is another lesson learned for me. Sure.
My last one was I think before we had Rowynne, we probably just, and it's only natural when you're, you know, together and you're doing your own thing, but we would take our time together maybe a little more for granted. Then now we don't, you know, we don't take any time together for granted. We try to soak up and maximize as much time as possible. Whenever we can, we engage with our grandparents to watch Rowynne, and you know, that way we can get away and do things. Like, you know, it's important that we don't take any moments or any time together for granted, and that's us. And then I would say it's multiplied by everybody else, and of course with Rowynne too. I mean,
of course.
You never want to take any time with her for granted, but definitely with our parents and our families as well. It's important to make time for things.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Like our Sunday Netflix. I never appreciated how freaking amazing a binge fest of Netflix could be.
Totally.
And just as much as you appreciate your time with like each other and your family and your child or whatever, like you don't realize how much like that rejuvenates you sometimes. But yeah, so now we really value stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. Like, because you didn't value it before. Like, you just kind of it is what it is. You just do it. That's part of your routine.
I think we just kind of exactly. We just precisely.
Yeah, so I would say those are the major 6 ways. I mean, there's a multitude of things we could go over, but those are the massive 6 ways that Rowynne has changed us as individuals and a couple. Is the patience, and the flexibility, and then that need for independence. Those would be my 3, and then yours would be
paying attention to children and other parents, and you know, having a passionate eye towards what other people are going through. I think that's one thing for us, and being patient and not taking things for granted, not taking anything for granted. For that matter.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And what kind of things would you guys say have changed you as being parents? Let's see what people are saying. One of my big zit that I popped today. I had to point it out because it's like right in your face. Love the boys now, but we value 7 p.m. like never before. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, it's time for bed, Rowynne. Love you, but time for bed. You were doing a great job as parents. I think the best parents just continue to learn as they go and realize that change is always happening and going. Exactly. The flexibility. Right, April? Like it's all that whole be flexible. Like you constantly have to adapt and to do things and be even flexible in mind, from going from like we never thought we would have kids to wow, I'm like, Matt, I'm kind of having this urge here, like, and I had to be flexible in mind and get unstuck out of my way to even present that idea, right? So there was another first lesson. Thanks, these are some good tips with baby on the way. Oh yeah, I know. Oh my God, Sarah, it must be like 5 months now. I wonder if you know if you're having a boy or a girl. Yeah, what other kind of things? Do you guys have anything else that you would say are lessons that you've learned since having children? Any of the same, any different? I love 7 p.m. time. Yeah, 7 p.m. time is important. And it doesn't mean you don't love your children like crazy enough that you just cry at random points because you love them so much. Yeah. But you definitely need that time to decompress. Keeping it a secret, 4.5 months.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Keeping it a secret. So you wouldn't know quite yet, though, at 4.5 months, right?
Well, it depends. We knew. We took that test.
Oh,
right?
yeah. We had a test, so we did know. So maybe you do know. Yeah. But it's pretty fun to keep it a secret. Good for you.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck.
It's very challenging to not let it slip somehow.
Yeah. Enjoy your pregnancy. As some people...
oh, they're not going to find out. That's it.
Oh, you mean you're not finding out? Oh, wow. Yeah, so you don't have to let it slip. Yeah. Oh, I couldn't do it. There's part of my type A personality. I needed to know, and I needed to know, like, ASAP what we're having. Yeah. Patience is key, especially with boys. Yes. Oh, and Ashley, you have so much patience. You're one of my mom idols, for sure. Unconditional love, forgiveness, a totally different perspective on how you look at things and people, always thinking of others first. Yeah, that's a big one too. Yeah. Always thinking of others first. And unconditional love. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For your child, for each other. Like,
I imagine that's going to play more of a role when she gets older and she starts getting a little testy. You'll have to remember what Rhonda said about unconditional love.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's already a firecracker, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can see how this is going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could say even, speaking of unconditional love with respect to our marriage, I would say actually one of my biggest fears was our marriage, having a child. And even that flexibility and like
affecting it. Yeah.
Like affecting it in a negative way. And even being flexible on how to make that work and so it doesn't go that way, for sure. Forgiveness is a good one. You're very right. And I'm very grateful for my parents forgiving me for doing some really dumb things when I was a teenager. Oh. As my dad says, I'm really happy you're out of that bitchy stage.
We were all there.
Yeah. Still trying to figure it out with being home alone with 2 boys, 2.5 years and 4 months. So far, I've just learned to let a little more go. House doesn't need to be... I can't read the rest, but I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yeah, we let things go a little bit. Like we'll just say, we'll get there. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Oh my God, Alicia. Like when we first had Rowynne, I think one of the things I struggled with most, like, on house-wise is that, like, I always wanted to have the house clean and I always wanted to have dinner ready for when Matt got home from work. And I felt like a failure almost for not having that happen. And then Matt had to like talk me off the cliff a couple times. He's like, yo, like, I don't really care about the house and Rowan's well taken care of. Like, we don't need to worry about dinner. Like, and then he started helping with dinner and stuff, which was really helpful. But yeah, like it's tough, but it's priorities, right? And it's like, would you rather go to someone's house that is messy but has like a really like fun and loving home and inviting home, or somebody that that spent more time cleaning than they did with their children, right? So I'm not saying you can't do it all, but sometimes it's hard to do it all with children that young. Like, they need a lot of attention.
And a Roomba is a good investment.
Yeah, although it scares Rowynne, but
she doesn't like it, but that's all right.
But the Roomba's fantastic.
Roomba helps keep things at a good,
and
acceptable level until it's time to
that hand vacuum.
Hand vac, yeah.
The hand vacuum helps a lot too. We actually vacuum her up. She's in her high chair.
And there's no point in cleaning windows because Rowynne's just going to put her hands all over them anyways.
Yeah,
so
and
you
go.
with those. We don't worry about those. So anyway.
Realizing, accepting we will all make mistakes. Sometimes, sometimes and we'll ponder things and wish we did them differently, but that's just part of the ride. Absolutely. It's all learning. Like you said, it's all evolving and being flexible, adaptable. Like it's constant change.
Yeah.
It's a constant change, and it has to be an open discussion, because there are certain things that Matt and I were like, like you watch your friends or you watch acquaintances or whatever parent, and you think that you would do it. Oh, I like what they're doing, I'm going to do it that way. Or I like what this person's doing, and I'm going to do it like that way, and I'm not going to do this. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, you just have to adapt. And even I've been told by friends per child, like you have to discipline certain children a different way than you maybe child or discipline your first child. Like, it's always evolving.
Totally.
And changing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So, Roomba, yeah, exactly. It's the best. So we don't want to keep you guys too long tonight. Specifically, I don't want to keep Matt too long tonight because I feel bad. He's not feeling the best, and he still decided. I said, you don't have to do it if you don't want. We don't have to do Facebook Live, and he said he would. So, anyways, thanks for hanging out, guys. Let's see what Julie says. Taking advice with a grain of salt. Follow your heart. I know what's best for you and your kids. Oh, it knows what's best for you and your kids.
No, it's true. Yeah,
it's very true. And there's
so much stuff out there, especially on the internet, that tells you how to parent your kids. And there's people with opinions, sometimes very close to you, and sometimes you have to just say thank you for the advice and appreciate it, and you just continue to do your own thing. Yeah,
there was
it can be tough. It can be really tough.
Yeah, it's really tough, and that was part of my sensitivity. Me learning to it's my sensitivity. I need to get in check, but. I agree, because there's a couple times that I've listened to other people's opinions and not followed my gut, and my gut was right and they were wrong, and no one knows better than we do for our child, right? And then we could have a second child, and then they could be completely different than Rowynne, and then we could have completely different opinions. You just have to vibe off that kid. How did you manage the fear that child would change your relationship? That's a great question, Carolyn. Thank you for asking. I would say my biggest fear, that kind of go hand in hand, is my biggest fear with Matt is that we were just going to see each other as husband and wife and not, as parents, as mom and dad, and not husband and wife. And then that would kind of trickle down into not having an intimate relationship. And I don't even know how we managed it, other than it really didn't change.
Well, we talked about it.
So we talked about it. It was discussion even before we got pregnant, during pregnancy, and then after pregnancy. So, I mean,
these are things that we want to make a priority.
Yeah.
And we talked about them, and we said we have to try. And sometimes you get caught up, and sometimes you fall, or you make a mistake, and you just say, I made a mistake, and we get back on track. You know what I mean? It's not.
We're still learning.
Yeah, when they say that marriage is work, that's what I would define as working. You know what I mean? Marriage is not work. It shouldn't be work. But if I was to say, if someone was to say, what is the work? That's it. Is realizing, okay, we need to make sure that we make time for one another. We need to make sure that we make each other a priority. And sometimes you forget. Sometimes you slip. And sometimes you run out of the house in a rush. And you don't say, I love you, and then you realize it on the GO train, and you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? These are things. These are things that, that's how we did it.
Yeah, I don't think
there's any single cure.
No, I think dialogue is the biggest thing. Is an open dialogue. Right. Yeah, you're right. Right. Great job. I would say, open dialogue and committing to each other, even if you're tired. Because I would say that's where a lot of parents struggle the most, is that kind of like what Rhonda said, is that like you're constantly putting your child before you, and then as a consequence that will be before your partner as well. And then so sometimes then at the end of the day you've just give, and then you're like, wow, I'm really burnt out, like I need to go to bed now. But you don't. You obviously need to rest, but it's also, even if you're tired, we need to talk, and we need to like decompress together, and we need to like make time for each other. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I hope it does.
I hope it did.
Anybody else? Anybody else have ways that their children has changed them, or I don't know, they have questions or anything? And then we'll pop off. No?
That's okay.
That is totally cool. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope that Matt feels better next week. Oh, also, we actually don't have any topics planned for October at all. And we did get feedback that people want us to keep going in October on Monday nights at 8 p.m. However, nobody said what they want to hear. So it would be a lot more beneficial to you guys and then also us if we knew what to plan. So if you guys have anything that you want us to talk about, or you want to discuss, like this could be open discussion, or anything you want to see,
sure,
just please let us know, because we need to plan that, because we're starting next Monday. So yeah, please let us know, and you can privately message me, or you can message on here, or you can send me an email, whatever. So
cool.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good night. Have fun with your babes. Speaking of relaxing, we're gonna go upstairs and we're gonna have a bath.
Yeah.
And then head to bed.
Shut her down.
Yeehaw! Crazy night. So, anyways, have a great one, guys, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.